And I think we only need to do a reaction if it's worthy of a reaction.
I got you.
Just
Yeah. That makes
just
sense.
just for us, because I think what we provide well in terms of analysis is what separates us, is our critical thinking ability.
Yeah.
And the quality of record affects our critical thinking ability. As in, if the record's not there, we can't apply the things that separate us, which is the critical thinking
Right.
perspective.
You can't really analyze lyrics that are shit. Like that's not other than to say these are crappy. Like
If it's not there, it's not there. The best new reaction song that we did is "The Tide" with Nas and Hit Boy, and it's because we had metaphors to use.
yep. And the best one before that was once a man, twice a child, like which is also very lyrically dense as well. Yeah.
Right. So the lyrically dense stuff, in terms of the modern stuff, is the stuff we have to gravitate towards because it's giving us stuff to talk about. I.e., the record needs to be quality.
Yeah.
Yeah. So tell me what you think of these Tyler records that I have been once again not too impressed with. Although
Yeah.
I'll say this now. I'm a Tyler the Creator fan now, and I thought about that too. It's like, would I classify myself as a Tyler the Creator fan? And yes, I would. And
Mm,
here's why. Because now officially, when he drops something, I do go to check for it, and
right.
not about me reviewing it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Yeah.
No, I'm going to check because now I officially want to hear him and hear what he's doing.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not like, oh, Tyler's coming out and I know Tyler has a following and we need to cover him for according to hip hop. So
Right.
let me pull up this Tyler album. Now it's like, oh, Tyler dropped new shit. It's like, oh,
Let's
let me
let's
hear
see let's see where if he's on his normal level, right?
it.
Yeah.
Right. He's got levels now. He's got Flexible. He's got Igor. He's got Call Me If You Get Lost. And this is one of the things about it. And we've talked about this with other artists on according to
Hmm.
hip hop. Well, now you have this thing called expectations.
Yep.
And these
And, and
expectations.
and that's what busted Kendrick the last time too, right? Like that's
This is not Kendrick level because these are outtakes going on Call Me If You Get Lost.
right.
But this is what I'm saying. Oh, well, you gave us your outtakes. Well, you and I know now from hearing these records, there's a reason that they were outtakes.
Hmm.
Didn't make the album. And so I don't love these songs because they're disrespecting the level that he operates on now, which is why they didn't make the album.
Right.
Once again, back to Purple Rain and Thriller. Not saying Tyler's made anything even remotely comparable or in the same universe as. But when you hear the songs that didn't make Purple Rain and Thriller, you're like, yep, and have no
Yeah.
business with those other records.
Yeah. And they're like Thriller's what 8 or 9 songs, right? This is
They're both
shorter.
9 song albums.
Yeah, like and part of making a great album is knowing what the cutoff is, man. Knowing like this is like I like this song, but it's not good. It's not good enough.
Once
If you're
again,
gonna
no,
put another song on an album with PYT and Thriller and Billie Jean and then it's got to be like
right. Once again, 9 song album, Illmatic. Mike and I just had this conversation because Illmatic just celebrated its
mhm,
anniversary. It came out on 4/19/1994. Well, once again, we're like, well, have you heard the stuff that didn't make Illmatic? They made all the right that's supposed to
yep,
be 9. Yep. Because the
mhm,
rest of the stuff, although you might like it, no, it's not on the level of those other records. It's not like
right,
those, like, and here's how I look at it. It's like, none of those records did he record on Illmatic? Well, none of those records are as good as The World Is Yours. And at that point that you have a record like that is that you can use as a litmus test.
hmm,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like you got Billie Jean, you got a When Doves Cry. It's like, no, no, no. That over there ain't making it. It's too far away from what the core peak
right.
is. No, it's fine. Like, so he could have kept these records, is what I'm saying. But they're all good.
Yeah,
And that,
exactly. And the more that I've listened to them, like this one, we were talking about Dogtooth earlier, and we're about to do it a little bit more now, but um it's they grow on me a little bit. Like I think they're better having listened to them 5 or 10 times than I thought they were the first time I listened to them, I guess. Right. So
that's part of the space that he's in terms of making quality records. It's like, no, these records are quality. They're officially not quality in terms of what your level is because you've just
right,
made 3 projects in a row.
right.
So now when we get 6 songs, oh, we expect at least 1 or 2 of those songs to be great.
Yeah.
Because that's the clip that you're hitting out for every 6 songs that you've been giving us for about the last 3 projects. It's like if you go look at Call Me If You Get Lost, it's like, nah, there's a banger about every 3 or 4 songs at a bare minimum. So when you have 6 songs that are just good songs, it may seem like we're shitting on it. We're actually big up in the level that you exist
Yeah,
on, and
exactly.
understand the level that you exist on now.
Right. We're saying you are capable of better than this. Do you have any thoughts about this song particularly? Other than it's I
It's the second best song in my opinion of the 6. We already covered
yeah,
the first best one.
yeah.
You say that
Yeah,
would be
I think this is roughly comparable to What a Day, like to that level. Um like it's again, like and you said this, I'm gonna repeat it, but in the modern world, in hot take culture and all of that kind of thing, it feels like saying it's fine is an insult. And I don't mean it as an insult. It just is not, it's good. It's fine. Like it's if it comes on the shuffle or the algorithm when I'm like listening to stuff, am I going to skip it? No. Like it's fine. But I'm not, am I going to like start a playlist with this song? Probably not. Like it's not it's not it doesn't jump off the page at me in the way, like you said, in a way that his music has been and is capable of doing.
yeah. I think what these songs, these Tyler songs are showing us is that even for somebody that's at the top of their game,
Hmm.
their prime, it's at their peak. Well, there's a reason that stuff gets left on the cutting room floor.
Yeah.
And that's all these records are really evidence of. It's just very, not to bring up Kendrick, it's very much like when Kendrick did the Untitled Unmastered album.
Okay.
It's like, well, none of these songs are indicative of your level now.
Right.
If you wanted to give the fans something extra just because you love the fans, that I understand. But
Right.
you're not really anything but fucking with your own level.
Mm.
Like the level that people see you, you know?
Yeah.
And so that's kind of how what my take on this is it's like, well, only person who's really hurting is the level that he's on in terms of people's mind because you don't here's what I tell you. I expect to hear something else soon to take this taste out of people's mouth.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
And
I don't
several
know.
of these songs are about how hard he works and about how he's always in the studio and how he's always making stuff. So there may be.
Well, I'm going to go to what Lauryn Hill said. Part of, her struggle was like, well, I wasn't being given room to inspire and write and create because it was tour bus,
Yep.
studio, tour bus, show, studio,
Right.
not living life. And so the way that you live your life also matters in this craft too.
Yep.
So you want to work so much that you just got a bunch of words. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Needs to be some life behind the words.
Yeah. And Lauren is another example of what we're talking about too. Like if the two things most recent in our mind that she's done are the score and Miseducation, like that's a serious level um to be thinking. So people live their whole lives without ever writing one song that could fit on either of those two albums, much less another whole project's worth of them. Like and maybe she just has enough sense to keep her mouth shut, like, and just say, I might be making some stuff, but like, it's not that good, or it's not that good. I'm sure it's better than anything that you and I could do, but like, it's better. It's not that level. So
We as a populace might have understated how well she knew her level. And
yeah.
she knew better than anybody around her what level she was truly operating on. She just probably couldn't say it because it would have came off super, super arrogant at the
Hmm.
time.
But she was that good. Is that good? Like she is. She
No,
is.
the thing, the Nas verse on Nobody is like the evidence of the fact. It's like, see, if she would have just rapped, like, forget the singing.
Yeah.
We're having a greatest MC conversation with her in it if she just
Yeah.
raps.
Yeah. She is that good.
Yeah, she's that good. So, levels. And so I think this reaction is a reaction about levels, much like the Smashing Pumpkin ones. It's
Yeah.
like, oh, good. It's not at that level though. Like,
Right. It's I think appropriate to the tenor of this show that we have that we started with the Smashing Pumpkins and ended with talking about Mike and Prince, and we started with Tyler the Creator and ended with Lauryn Hill and Nas. Like it's like you don't want to compare them necessarily because they're not doing the same thing necessarily, but it's you're part of our job, I think, as commentators is to put it in context, right? Like, and put the newer
Well,
stuff in context with
and people
classic.
have to in order to put stuff in context, you have to have a barometer.
Hmm.
You have to have something to measure it off of. You like, will take this piece of art, just for what it is. It's like, as an artist, I hate when artists say that. It's like, nah, dude. It's like when I'm talking about Salvador Dali, it's like, no, I expect you to bring up Rembrandt and Van Gogh and Picasso. I don't expect you to bring up some guy that like
Right,
did a art exhibit in Poughkeepsie, New York in 1973 that mostly his family and friends from Schenectady came to. No,
right. It's not the same.
not the same. So like, no, no, no. There's gonna be barometers that you measure off of, and just musically speaking, we have certain barometers. Like we have the Rolling Stones, we have the
Mhm.
Beatles, we have Prince and Michael Jackson and Stevie Wonder. You know
Right.
what I mean? I don't know. I
Yeah.
mean, as far as guitar playing, drummers, vocalists. No, we have places and people we go where it's like, it's not like that. Like for me now, when I hear a male singer, that can sing like in a certain tenor or a certain falsetto, I say to myself, but he's not Freddie Mercury. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Because
Yeah.
he's how I measure that style and that level of singing. It's like,
Hmm.
well, can he sing like Freddie? Well,
Nobody can sing like Freddie, but yeah,
right.
yeah,
So it becomes a
yeah.
barometer of how you can measure it when you realize somebody can sing like that. It's like when when I say, well, I love Mary J. Blige's voice, but she's no Whitney Houston or Mariah Carey vocally.
She's not. She's not. Even she would say that.
I'm not trying to say that to take a shot. I'm saying no. There's barometers. There's measures. You see
Or
Whitney.
Aretha or Nina Simone or like, yeah,
Yeah,
like,
and yeah, Denise Williams. Yeah, like 5 octave voices. It's like no, she doesn't have. She can't shatter a glass with her voice.
yeah.
You know, like there are women out here who can sing that, like in their day, could literally shatter a glass with the wavelength of the frequency of their voice.
Mhm.
So it's like, no, I don't hear that when I hear real love. Real love makes me feel though. There's places and spaces for everything, but we have to have a barometer to measure. Because as soon as I'll tell you, well, Whitney can't sing like Mary, but I mean, Mary can't sing like Whitney, but Whitney can't make you feel like Mary can.
Right. Yeah,
You
they have
know,
different skill sets. It's
different
different
skill sets,
things.
different measures, different barometers.
Yeah.
And even people's fandom is that way. When I talk about this, is what I mean when I talked about the whole streaming thing on According to Hip Hop on Friday too. Is that no, like I'm just asking you what kind of fan you are. Like I'm sitting over here with the stack of Prince records that I bought the day he died.
Hmm.
The intention is to promote the greatness of it. And I
Yeah.
find doing reaction videos, we're like kind of like saying, "Motherfucker, you can't rap no more."
Yeah. And that's like, yeah. And I don't want to be like the old men sitting on the porch saying, in my day, it was like, that's
Right.
not the
The
point of
reaction,
this, right?
but the reaction video, if the quality is not there, puts you in that position for that to
Yeah.
happen. And it's like, no, we just need to
Like
pull
when
up
I
one.
was a boy, there was Lauryn Hill, right? I mean, like that's,
Right. Right. No, because that's essentially what we are saying to a degree. But what I'm saying is that we're not wrong for saying that. I'm just saying we're not the people that want to say that.
yeah,
Like, oh,
yeah,
there's other things to talk about.
yeah. That's not,
Yeah.
that was never the purpose of the show, was to say, like, new music is shit. Like,
Right.
that's not the
Like
point of
I'm
it.
really hoping some stuff comes out,
Yeah.
that's right. That's the real
I want
hope.
to hear some new stuff that's like, oh, that's the thing. Like, I don't, as much as I like that, as much as I like the Boy Genius album, um,
Mhm.
that we talked about a while back, um,
I listened
I
to it.
haven't really picked up either of those records again since we talked about it. Like,
That's why it's like, no, that's why we start this show by covering, at least on my side, it's like, no, no, let's do Fight the Power and Cream and Dear Mama. Let's highlight the best of the
and
best.
we started with us with the Beatles and the Stones
Dylan,
and
right,
Dylan and um Tom
Joni,
Petty and Springsteen and like yeah and Joni
Joni,
Mitchell, yeah, yeah, right.
right, right. Like it's
The
obviously,
reasons we're listening to those songs 50 years later.
yeah, it's not just the artist, it is the quality. Like, like,
Yeah.
because there are certain songs that even lesser artists that made. And we're singing those songs 50 years later too.
Yep.
We're gonna be covering some of those songs. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.